exchanges with one of the public comment, and those 2 sections were me. So you can just note that in the notes. Otherwise, I didn't see any other corrections for the notes.
Okay, thank you. Actually, yes, one of our staff, I had her sit down and go through the video, and she had put the comments, and I forgot to go back and review and supposed to put the names. But thank you for mentioning that. Are there any comments from other members?
I have none.
If there are no further comments, if a motion can be made to approve the minutes with the comments from Mr. Collins to be added to the minutes.
I make a motion that we approve the minutes with the added comments by Mr. Collins.
And I'll second that.
Thank you. I'll do the roll call. Committee member, Mr. Doyle.
We already did that. Oh, sorry. We're voting. Sorry, never mind.
Yeah. Yeah. So, committee member, Mr. Doyle.
Yes.
Thank you. Committee member, Ms. Donham Sims.
Yes, sorry, it's been a day.
Not a problem, everybody. Committee member, Mr. Moriarty.
Approve.
Committee member, Mr. Collins.
Aye.
Thank you. We'll approve the minutes with the comments added. Do we have any committee member reports, item number 4 of agenda? If none, I will move to item number 5, citizens to be heard for items not on the agenda. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes. Dave, are there any participants in the chambers or online who would like to say I see one hand in the attendees?
Yeah, there are 2 people here that want to make comments.
Okay, thank you. Please have the chambers people comment first, then the online participant.
Good evening, Matt Avery. Good evening, committee members and Mr. Mishra. I just have 2 quick questions in follow up to my presentation in November. And I'm hoping I can get an answer tonight. When will I receive a response to the questions I asked during the August 10th meeting? And then the follow-up questions and comments I emailed Mr. Mishra that evening. I know that in November, I mentioned that January, February would probably be an appropriate time given the holidays and, you know, any public notice that might be made, but we're into January. I'd like to find out when I will get a response. And then secondly, will the additional red curb on Pinole Valley Road at Rafaela Street be revisited as a future agenda item?
Thank you, Mr. Avery. I will have the chair either respond to this if we will provide any further comments or not.
Well, I was under the impression that you had provided responses to Mr. Avery's email. I vaguely remember seeing the email with your responses, and then it would be up to the group to decide if we want to revisit the red curb. And I'm guessing, Mr. Avery, you want us to revisit the red curb because you are not in favor of the red curb. Is that correct?
Well, I'll answer the second one there. Well, one, yes, I'm not in favor of it. And I have quite a few questions about the process in which it transpired, which may be answered in the questions that I had that evening and then the follow-up. Just for clarification, I did get a reply with some answers to some questions initially. I don't know if that is what you saw or what you're referring to, but I have not received any response to the questions I posed during the August meeting or the email that I provided Mr. Mishra with additional questions and comments, but also contained what I presented at the or during the August meeting. So if the committee has received responses to my questions, great, which actually would underscore my concerns with the process and adequate notification and open deliberation, including the public. So I think they're two pretty straightforward questions. When will I receive a response to the questions I posed, and will it be revisited? So I think Mr. Mishra should be able to answer the first question.
Yes, I will be able to answer the first question. I have reviewed all the details you have submitted after my first response, and all those details does not change my determination. And I don't want to actually keep on responding the same thing over and over. So if there is going to be an item agendized by the committee members, then I'll just clarify all those at the same time and provide my determination there.
So for clarification for because I don't have the first set of questions that I sent and the answers that I received. The second set of questions that I posed included whether Mr. Mishra talked to anybody in the neighborhood, as was part of the motion that was made. You would not have been able to answer that question in the first set of my questions because that hadn't even come up. So if I'm understanding correctly, and for the sake of time, the answer is I will not receive questions, which is fine. If that's the case, just tell me. And then the second, will it be revisited as an agenda item?
That I will leave it to the committee members. If they ask me to put it as an agenda item, I will.
This is Kent Moriarty. I could say something. I know a lot of materials were sent to the city to be reviewed, and I've looked through all those materials. Although in one point, what you sent to the city, you said that that since I live in the neighborhood, and I live a couple of blocks from that red striped area. Well, I'll finish. You said that I should recuse myself and shouldn't participate in the discussion. And so I felt torn. I felt like you weren't getting a response, but I didn't want to say too much because in your view, I should recuse myself, and maybe I should. What you said was that when the cars that block the sight line, if I or anybody, I guess, were to pull out in the intersection and suffer a collision because of the lack of sight distance due to those parked cars, I would suffer a financial impact. And so therefore I have a financial interest. And so I shouldn't participate in any decisions. And I guess that's true. Although anybody that enters that intersection and suffers a collision due to the limited sight that you have when those cars are parked there, is going to suffer a financial impact. And currently, everybody, I think, that uses that intersection and has the improved sight lines due to the red stripe and the lack of cars parked there, enjoys, I think, a decreased risk of a collision. So
What I was, I appreciate your comments, and what I was going to allude to is, I think we're getting into possibly Brown Act issues in regards to discussing a non-agendized item. And so if you would like my input on that, yes, you are correct, but not everybody sits on a committee that makes decisions as yourself. So I really, that's kind of a side issue. I think I got the answer. Mr. Mishra is not going to respond to my second set of questions, and that it will not be an agenda item, which then that's fine. My next step will be taking this to the city council, because they are ultimately the governing authority over an appointed committee.
I have a question, and it's more of a procedural question. I think Mr. Avery's right. I think we are way beyond the three-minute public comment. There's Mr. Mishra and other people have commented. I think we need to either have this as an agenda item, or we need to not have this discussion. We're here to listen, and I don't really know that responding and having a back and forth is the most appropriate thing to do without agendizing it. So I would recommend that we close the 3-minute comment for Mr. Avery at this time, and then we can take a vote if we want to agendize the red curb that is being discussed now, so we can serve public notice and all that stuff the right way. Thank you.
Thank you for the next member who would like to speak.
Yeah, I like that idea. I think we should summarize the public comment and response up to this point, and revisit it for the sake of a concerned citizen who wants more response than we've been able to provide, and hopefully that moves us either one or another, but that should give the city council whatever information they need to address his concerns.
Thank you, Mr. Doyle. I believe at the end of this meeting, there is a item where you can agendize for this if it needs to be revisited, and the committee can agendize this, and we can notice it and move forward with that. But now we can go ahead with the citizens' comment. I believe there is a second public comment. We are waiting in the chambers, please.
Yes, my name is John Bender. I live here in Old Town on San Pablo Avenue, and I have just three basic questions. I was reading in the safety improvements on the Tennant Avenue corridor, the October 18th presentation made to the council. On one of the pages, talking about that dealt with the local road safety plan. It said existing conditions analysis used 2015 to 2019, the collision data. I'm just kind of curious why it stopped at 2019. As a citizen who does drive on our freeways, and I live on San Pablo Avenue ever since COVID, March 2020. a certain percentage of the population's driving habits has gone way downhill. So I am curious why it stopped at 2019. To me, it should continue up to the present day. And then the second question I have is, there's supposed to be a pedestrian and vehicular safety report being issued. I'm curious what the status of that is. I'm kind of eagerly looking forward to it, because again, myself and other citizens who live on San Pablo Avenue, and yes, there are people who live on San Pablo Avenue in the Old Town area. San Pablo Avenue has become just a horrible, it's basically a freeway. That's the only way to describe it, especially between Pinole Valley Road and John Street and up to Hercules Avenue. I would like to get a clarification when that report is going to be issued. And then the final question is the environmental impact report for the bridge replacement project at the BNSF Railroad is, I've been told, was going to come out around the end of last year or the very beginning of this year. I'd like to get clarification on where that is. And specifically because I am one of the property owners that will be directly affected by that project. So I'm just kind of very curious when that will be issued. And that concludes my comments. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Bender.
Ranjay, I think you're the only person that can answer those questions.
I believe so. I can reach out to him as a separate email, if that's okay. I don't have all the answers correctly in front of me right now, but I can get back to you.
I think then that's probably the best course of action. Thank you.
Thank you. Online attendee, Dave, can you let Ms. Rupert unmute her?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Please go ahead.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. Mr. Mishra, I do have a lot of concerns with every committee, not just this one, including the city council, and I will be addressing them separately. I would appreciate on this agenda packet that was announcement, there weren't any minutes or any information attached to it. If it was done late, fine, I will go back and look at it, but there's nothing I can input other than information that I have in the past regarding some of your agenda items. The second thing I'd like to address is the speakers that come forward, and I've been a very, very seasoned person coming to all these committee meetings. I've participated in two of them in terms of, how should I say, volunteering. And all I can say, and at the city council, many meetings, I've lived here over 40 years, so I'm like a seasoned person in speaking in these meetings. I would appreciate, since we've got new staff, new people, that when we start these meetings, that then when there's a question asked, that it be reported and answered in the agenda and when it was answered, for the public to be aware of what's going on out there. It would be important that we be a part of the process and a part of that information, because we all live in this town. I participate in the food bank down at the senior center. I've seen a person run over on San Pablo Avenue, and I can address that. Traffic is horrendous. And all I could say is some of these questions that are asked should be posed to all the citizens of Pinole. And if there are questions, please put them on the packet and answer them directly. These emails back and forth do not do justice to anybody. And I will be also relating this message to the council. We got a new year, new staff. new city manager, been here for less than 2 years, council members. Let's be very progressive in the issues that are affecting all of us. And let's do it right. Let's do it for all the community. Let everybody know what is going on. Just because I don't live on San Pablo Avenue, yes, it affects me. I've been there. I've seen it. So, and I live on AP and Marlesta, believe it or not, people have been run over there. So I just want to say to the committee, thank you for everything that you're doing. Mr. Mishra, thank you. But let's do a little more, be more proactive and get the community and citizens involved and give them this communication and answer the questions directly to all and not just a few. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mishra.
Thank you, Ms. Rupert. Yes, we actually posted the minutes for this agenda, but we were late. The agenda was posted first in time and all the minutes and all was actually posted a little late. But all the minutes are available. If you go to the website, it is there. If there are no more public comments, we'll move forward to next item. Which is item number 6. Submit any traffic and pedestrian safety issues submitted by citizens. For the last couple of months, I did not receive any. Next slide, please. So there were no items of concerns received by the citizens, and nothing new that I have been tracking. Can you move forward to the next slide? And one more. Thank you. So this is a list of all the items that I have been keeping a log. And next slide, please. Next slide. Next. So we have about roughly 15 items listed. A couple of them are done. A couple of them are in progress. Next slide, please. Item number 7, staff updates.
This is Kent Moriarty. Can I go back to 6 for a second?
Yes.
The list of issues that are open, and I think it's on there, I'm not sure. Last time we met, we talked about the pedestrian trail / bike path between Sarah and the Pinole Valley Shopping Bridge. And this group voted to suggest to council that repairs be included in the next update of the CIP. And I was just wondering, when is the next update of the CIP? Because I didn't want it to be missed. I wanted council to receive our recommendation for our suggestion before that happened.
Okay, CIP quarterly update is scheduled to go to council, I believe, February 1st or the second council meeting. And I will add an item for the Sarah Code as part of the CIP update. And I'll prepare the staff report for that, for the CAPS members to review, and I can add that there.
So is there time for us to, I guess we don't necessarily have to review it, but is there time for us to review it and for it to get to council before February? Did you say February 1st?
I think it's February 4th is the first, 4th is the council meeting. This is actually the first Tuesday. Let me just check. Second. No, sorry, February 7th.
Okay. So I guess my thought would be, it's not really that important for us to review any proposal. We've already made our motion. And if that's all the clarification that's needed, then I'd prefer that it get to council earlier rather than being delayed another quarter because we haven't had a chance to review it.
That is not a problem. you don't want to be actually reviewed by the TAPS committee members, it's okay. You have already given me the instruction in the last meeting, and I will add that to the CIP update as a recommendation from the TAPS committee.
Does the rest of the group agree? I didn't want to put words in everybody's mouth.
And I believe that was voted last time,
Okay,
and it is recorded in the minutes. And so I think we're okay.
okay.
Excuse me. Item number 7, staff updates. Next slide, please. There are 2 projects which are currently in the first project, Epianway and Marlesta Road intersection project in construction phase. The contractor is on board. We are moving with the weekly meetings with them. They have some of the pothole work to be completed around that location. And because of this rain, they haven't been able to start any work there. But we are working with all the submittals and the procurement for the traffic signal there. Once the rain, we get a break from the storm, we will have the contractor be there on the site doing some pothole work and the foundation work at the intersection project. Pinole Valley Road improvements have not moved much in the design wise yet from the last couple of months. The consultant have been busy with a couple of other projects, the Tenant Avenue project and the safety improvements and the proposals at Tenant and Pear and Plum. So we haven't actually had much movement on the Pinole Valley Road improvement project. Next slide, please. Cities development projects are available at this website location at the City of Pinole website. Current projects, there are a couple of projects which are under planning. There was a Pinole Vista and the Pinole Source 2. There's another project, I believe, it's 821 San Pablo. Saha Enterprises, I believe they are also working on another project. Those project details can be found here. And if you wanted to comment on anything, please reach out to Planning Department or the Planning Commission. Thank you. Next slide, please. The active transportation plan, as I explained last time, we actually had the RFP out and we received 5 proposals from the proposal actually due date was mid-December, and we have received 5 proposals where staff is going through review of the proposal, and we will be approving once we go through our evaluation process and the interview. We will approve one proposal from and that active transportation plan, and we'll bring it to the council. Does anybody has any comments on that? I do see some hand raised online.
You do have 2 hands raised. They may have been for the last item, however.
I see. Any comments from the members, committee members?
This is Kent Moriarty. I just had a couple questions. One, the local road safety plan. I know it's been sort of linked that it was going to be finished first and then the active transportation plan was going to come next. And I was wondering what the status of the local road safety plan is. I think last time we heard that it was close to being presented to council. And then the other, I was just wondering what the role of this group is regarding the active transportation plan. Is there, are we involved between where it is now and going to council for approval or not? I wasn't clear on that. Those are my two
Okay,
questions.
so let me answer the local road safety plan. Local road safety plan is, we have the draft, we have received the draft from the consultant. We are going to be bringing that to public one more time before it goes to council for adoption. So there is one more workshop balance for the local road safety plan, and we are hoping to conduct that workshop on February 4th. That's a tentative date, but we'll come up with the exact details to all of you soon. Most likely sometime around tomorrow or day after tomorrow. And we expect to adopt that LRSP at council on the first week of February. That is either on 7th or 21st. I mean, yeah, first meeting or the third meeting, the second meeting, council meeting on February. For active transportation plan, currently it is still, the contract is not awarded. From once the contract is awarded, then HAPS committee and everybody else has a role. Until the contract is awarded, for the consultant to go ahead and reach out to all the stakeholders, you don't have any role yet.
Great, thanks.
Thank you. So Rafael Menis, the online attendee, would like to speak on this. Can you unmute?
Hello, so my name is Rafael Menis. I'm a resident of Pinole, and I think I may have gotten my comments a bit out of order here because this is my first time going to one of these TAPS meetings virtually. So my apologies if they're out of order, but I saw the updated agenda packet had a fair amount more information in it than the prior agenda packet. My comments are more about the list of items. I think it was not item 8, but item 6. Yeah. I was going to ask whether it could be split out separately, but since it's in the full agenda packet, that isn't really necessary. My second question is with regards to the listing of on the city's website. I don't know whether this should really be going to you folks or more to the city clerk's office, but I noticed that the minutes sub-column in the table there is blank, even though there are minutes within the agenda packets. I'm wondering whether it'll be possible to split out the minutes and have them there. I also noticed there doesn't seem to be video for the meeting of November 9th. That might be useful to have. I don't know. I know that often it takes a little while to get the video uploaded after a meeting's done. And then with regards to item number 7 and the Planning Commission, I think that the role of the Planning Commission has mostly passed with regards to the Pinole Vista and the Saha projects at the very least, because they've gone through the approval process of the Planning Commission, they've gone on to the council and so on. Unless they're in violation of their conditional use permits, I'm not sure what comments the Planning Commission could make as such, but I could be mistaken about that. Just figured I'd bring that up. And that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Menis. Any other comments from committee members or public on item number 7?
No, thank you.
Thank you. Next slide, please.
There is another hand raised.
Yes, please go ahead and unmute Ms. Rupert.
Good evening, everybody. Mr. Mishra, I'm not sure if I could ask this question here, but please, if I'm out of place, let me know. On the CIP projects and active transportation plan, I'm very, very much interested in the roads, projects and contracts and how you select roads and streets to be repaired and paved. I know with Tamara, the past director, Tamara, who retired, I had a long discussion with her in the selection of how you pick the roads to be paved and the slurry seal project. I'd like to know if we could either agendize that or explain to the public, because there was such a lot of people kind of confused and don't know exactly how streets are selected for repairing them. And I am one who's in the past wasn't very happy with the selection and how we do the process. And maybe we could, you yourself and maybe for the committee, be able to, how should I say, educate the community and the public as to how those projects are selected. Do we always pick the worst streets or the better streets? Or do we just patch up the good ones and get the bad ones out for somewhere out in space? The selection is horrible. I can go on and on, but Mr. Mishra, I think you understand. I think I've spoken to you before. So if we could, I don't know if I'm speaking at the right area, but I would like to see more of educating us all, because I know everybody's having problems with some of these streets and roads that we have, and we all want our streets patched, but everybody can't get them done at the same time. So I'd appreciate some of that information to be sent out to the public and maybe recorded before these contracts are approved. Thank you, Mr. Mishra. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Ms. Rupert. We will be bringing a agenda item to the council, the roads rehab strategy, and that item and that presentation to the council would actually answer most of your questions, how the roads are selected, how it is chosen, and all that. So that is being scheduled to actually happen sometime at the February 1st or the 3rd council meeting as well. So please keep a look out for that. Yeah. Item number 7. If there are no other comments, I'm going to move out. Okay, with the grants. Grants, acceptance, actually, we haven't heard from our applications. OBAG 3 also same thing. We haven't heard whether it is we are successful or not. I will update when we hear from them. I don't know the due date, not the due date, when they're supposed to announce. Usually CCTA will give us those details for OBAG 3, and HSIP Caltrans will let us know when the HSIP grants are being finalized. Next slide, please. Item number 8, future agenda items. I would like to request the committee member to bring for the next meeting one item that is regarding a permanent design at the Pinole Middle School, location on Munn Drive. I have tried to invite the residents and the school district to actually come and participate here at the TAPS meeting to discuss about a conceptual design and couple of options that our consultant has developed, to take a look at that, discuss that, and provide their feedback and comments. I would provide those details very soon and post it to the website, the TAPS website. as a agenda for future. I'll send it out to the TAPS members for their review as well. I would like request that that item be added to the next agenda, TAPS agenda.
I second that.
I'd like to propose we take a vote for a future agenda item to discuss the road in front of Pinole Valley Middle School on Man Drive for discussion.
I'll second that.
Thank you. I'm going to do the roll call. Member Doyle,
Yes.
Member Dunham Sims,
Yes,
Member Moriarty,
Yes,
Member Collins.
I
Thank you. Are there any other agenda items, any other committee member would like to request or add?
Based on the comments by Mr. Avery over the last few meetings, I would recommend or propose that we have a future agenda item to discuss the red curb on Pinole Valley Road and follow up to the comments and the emails to hopefully clarify maybe a couple items. One, clarify the process for painting the curb. And then two, is there any data that the city can provide regarding the reduced number of collisions or community complaints about for or against the red curb as part of that discussion?
Anybody would like to second that motion?
I'll
I'll
second
second.
it. Third.
Okay, I'll just take a roll call to add that agenda item to the next minutes. Mr. Doyle? Member Doyle?
Yeah. Are you asking about the previous item?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm in favor.
Okay. Member Dunham Sims,
Yes,
Member Moriarty,
abstain.
Member Collins.
Aye.
Thank you. Is there any other item you'd like to agendize for the next one?
Sanjay, I don't have an item to be agendized, but back, I knew I was forgetting something, committee member reports. And I'm not even sure if this is where it will go, but back when they were laying the line and they messed up the signal at Appian and Canyon, we were all using creative workarounds for those of us who live over there. And I was going up Shea to Sarah to get up to Appian and Fitzgerald. And I was kind of appalled by just the condition of Shea, the condition of the street with potholes and stuff. And they must have 3 or 4 speed bumps. And I think one of them has a sign, and almost all of them, the paint is almost completely non-existent, identifying the speed bump. So I would just say that needs some help. And on when it changes into Sarah, they have signs for their speed bumps, but the paint is in very bad shape as well. So I was just gonna throw that out there on the gigantic list of stuff.
Okay. No, thank you. I just noted it, and yes, we'll add it to our item number 6, and we'll see what, when we can end those.
You
Thank
have a hand
you.
raised.
Okay, we have an online hand raised. Ms. Rupert, go ahead and unmute.
Thank you, Mr. Mishra and committee members. Really quick, and I'm not sure if I'm in the right place, but I'm very concerned with the city. And I'd like to know for the tax committee, especially on the transportation side, how many grants has the city applied for, been granted, and when was the last one we received? My concern is that we need to be proactive with some of these grants. There's been some money coming down from the federal and state level to the cities regarding transportation monies. So even if you can agendize, can maybe a report coming back at the next meeting, or even if I can't get an answer here, I'll just have to go to the council. But I figured, Mr. Mishra, if you can give me some answers, and maybe at the next meeting, we can find out what's going on, because the city is so behind the 8 ball on grants. I watch other city council meetings in other cities, and they are so proactive, more so than we are. And I think we need to move a little bit faster on this issue. So, I'd appreciate it if I can hear from some of you guys. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Rupert. Okay, if there are no more requests for future agenda items, can go to the next item, number 9.
I have
And
one request. That maybe we could propose to the council some kind of a safety promotion program, maybe something as simple as a small budget for posting flyers around the city for how to raise concerns and bring them to the attention of the TAPS committee and or any other safety issue that is on the people's minds. I don't think that participation in safety in our city is spread wide enough amongst the population.
Could you please raise your microphone?
I could. So
Okay.
do you need me to repeat any of that?
Yeah, that would be helpful. Thank you.
Okay, I was proposing that we recommend to the city council a safety promotion process, maybe something as simple as posting flyers around the city saying how to report safety concerns to the TAPS committee or whatever appropriate committee or council should be receiving them, to increase public participation and reporting, let them know that the city is here to listen to their concerns.
Okay. Anybody would like to second that motion?
I guess I just want to get a clarification, Ben. We're talking about discussing, putting on the agenda at a future meeting just to talk about how to increase public involvement in this, the whole transportation and pedestrian safety sphere.
Yeah, or at least make a recommendation of some kind for how we could, maybe for a small amount of money, raise public awareness that this committee exists.
Yeah.
So this is for a future council for the committee, TAPS committee agenda item. So if the committee members just motion and vote, then we can just have a recorded agenda and discussion on this regard, and then we can bring it to the council in future.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to have a big discussion now. I was just trying to
Okay,
have a clear agenda item and,
okay,
and it sounded like the proposal to be on the agenda was just to talk about ways to engage the public more. And
Yeah.
that would, and then hopefully that would result in some concrete suggestions to council.
okay. So this
Yeah.
discuss ways for public involvement for safety.
Yeah, I'll second that motion. Yeah. Yeah,
Thank
sounds
you.
good.
Council Member Doyle. Sorry, Committee Member Doyle. We're just going to take a vote. Yes.
I'm for it.
Committee Member Dunham Sims.
Yes.
Committee Member Moriarty.
Yes,
Committee Member Collins.
Aye.
Thank you. We'll end that. Okay, if there are no other future agenda items, the Chair can adjourn the next meeting to the next date on February 8th, 2023.
Let's adjourn the meeting and everybody stay dry and safe. And Sanjay, I hope you feel better.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. See you next month.
Bye.